your core product or service. So we're going to go through this module real quick, and we're going to go through this and make sure you're taking notes. It's really, really important stuff. All right. What is a core product? The core product is the dominant benefit or satisfaction that a customer expects from a good or service he or she buys. This is your major selling point. What's going to make your customer buy? This will be your major selling point. Why should you organize your core product? When you have an organized outline of what you have and what you can offer, the perceived value of your service is worth more than just skill that is not organized. Example: apples at a random grocery store cost $1 a pound. Same store for already sliced and packaged apples is $4.76 a pound. Why? When you have something already packaged, it gives direction, no hassle, and already prepped for the job you want to do. In other words, it already provides a solution. Your clients want to hear solutions, not selling processes. Your core product should be made up of three things. What does your competitors offer? What skills can you offer? Your industry's needed solutions. You want to think about all these things right here, guys. These are some really, really important deals. What does your competitor offer? What skills can you offer? And the needs that your industry has. So, taking a look at this as far as this circle graph. It all comes together, right? It all blends together. What problems are in your industry? When you identify your client avatar and research your niche, you should find what some of the common issues that are in demand for the niche you're in. Make a list of about 5 problems that are in dire need of a solution in your market. Choose the most costly or painful problems. Become the solution. Key things to think about when becoming the solution. Now that you know the issue, what can you do to solve it? Is it something that you have to acquire the skill for? How are you going to go about being the solution? Define the cost of the issue you can solve. What will it cost your client to continue having the same problem? Define emotion and stress. Define financially. Define the worst case scenario of problem continuing. What's the worth of you fixing the problem? Define financially, define emotionally, define the best scenario. Determine the price. Pricing services is more difficult than pricing products because you can often pinpoint the cost of making a physical product, but it's more subjective to calculate the worth of your counsel. You can, however, use some of the same underlying pricing guidelines to figure out your costs and operating expenses, plus your target profit, and setting your price for services. Staying in profit. To determine costs, you need to figure out direct costs, indirect costs, and fixed costs. With the cost plus approach, the thing to remember is that if you're paying someone $11 an hour, you may think you should charge $11 an hour for the service they provide, but you have to factor in all your costs. ACR. What is ACR? ACR, average customer rate, is the average cost of the service you have based off of your competition. You need to be aware of what competitors are charging for similar services in the marketplace. For example, let's say I have an item, I have a product that I have, and we're just going to use just e-commerce for instance. I have a product I'm selling at $50. but the average cost rate is $25. It's going to look ridiculous me selling it at $50 when everybody's selling it at 25. And so I want to factor that in. Maybe I want to take it down to 30 or 35. Just because having it double the rate like that is crazy. This information could come from competitor websites, phone calls, talking to friends and associates who have used the competitor services, published data, or etc. You need to convince the customer that you're giving them tremendous value in terms of service and quality. Perceived value to the customer. The important factor in determining how much they are willing to pay for a service may not be how much time you spent providing the service, but ultimately what the perceived value of that service and your expertise is to them. Determine the cost. Before you set a price for the services your company will provide, you need to understand your cost of providing these services to customers. What is the cost for materials? What is the cost for labor? What is the overhead? Determining a fair profit margin. Once you determine your costs, you need to mark up your services to ensure that you achieve a profit for your business. This is a delicate balance. You want to ensure that you achieve a desirable profit margin, but at the same time, particularly in a down economy, you want to make sure that your business doesn't get a reputation for overcharging services. Pricing models. Now that you understand what it costs to provide a service, what your competitors are charging, and how customers perceive the value of your service, it's time to figure out whether to charge an hourly rate, a per project rate, or try to negotiate a retainer for your services.